Okay, we're going to be starting a new unit, Unit 6, Angles and Polygons. And I'm going to divide this into two videos. My first video will cover Lesson 1, Angle Pairs, and my second video will cover Lesson 2, Classifying Triangles. Now, a lot of this will seem quite familiar to you. There still be some common words that you've done in the past, but there will be some things that will be new also. So pay close attention. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we're going to go over some vocabulary words about angles. My first word is straight angle. Straight angle. Notice the word straight in it, and that's because it's going to make a straight line. So a straight angle measures all the way from there to there, 180 degrees. Notice it makes a half circle. Full circle is how much? 360, got it. Semicircle is 180. So your straight angle measures 180 degrees. Okay, here's a familiar one. The word is right angle. And we all know a right angle is formed when two perpendicular lines intersect and they make a nice corner there. Notice that box drawn in there. That signifies that that is definitely 90 degrees exactly. So this right angle measures 90. Okay, two very important words. You're going to hear these a lot. First word, complementary angles. And the second word, supplementary angles. Okay, let's go back and talk about the word complementary. Complementary angles are two angles that will have a total sum of 90 degrees. So two angles will add up to give me a total of 90. Take a look at the picture here. I have a right angle, okay, right angle, and I'm basically splitting my right angle into two sections. So I'm splitting my right angle into a 25-degree section and a 65-degree section. 25 and 65 gives me 90 total. Okay, take a look at the next picture. Supplementary angles, two angles whose total sum is 180. Okay, once again, I see that straight line, straight angle. Okay, so I'm basically taking that straight angle of 180 and I'm splitting that into two sections there. I have 140 on this side and 40 on the other side. 140 plus 40, total 180. Okay, here's one way to help you remember those two words, complementary and supplementary. If we draw our C for complementary, and draw our S for supplementary. I'm just making these a little bit more bold. Okay, so I can show you this little trick. Okay, so C for complementary. Now I'm going to go like this. C, complementary, what number do you think of? What number do you think of? You got it, 90. 90 degrees. And when I say complementary, do you think of 90? When I say supplementary, you're going to think of 180. 180 degrees. There you go. There's your trick for the day. Okay, let's do a couple of examples regarding the supplementary and complementary new vocabulary words. Number one says angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. I just want to point out to you that these little symbols there, you read as the word, maybe I'll put a little arrow there, you say angle. It's just a little symbol for angle. Angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. Okay, immediately, what special number is going off in your head? You got it. I'm going to put a little 90 right there, 90 degrees. Okay, keep reading. If the measure of angle 2, notice I said measure. I didn't see the word measure, no. I saw M. M stands for measure. Write that in there. So if the measure of angle 2 is 23 degrees, find the measure of angle 1. Okay, remember, angle 1 and 2 are complementary. So I know that the sum is 90. Okay, so I know my two angles, when I add them together, I should get 90. One of them is 23. Perfect, 23. Second one, I don't know that yet. Let's designate that as x. So 23 plus something equals 90. Okay, we go off to the side, or in your head here, we're just gonna fill in 90 minus the 23, and I'm getting 67. So the measure of angle 1 would be 67 degrees, and there's your answer. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary. Okay, what's going off in your head? You know, supplementary means 180 total. So let's write that in our sum, 180 total sum. Okay, if the measure of angle 3 is 71, find the measure of angle 4. Once again, I have two angles that add up to be 180. I know one of them, 71. I do not know the other. Let's designate that as x. Okay, so off to the side, 180 minus 71. Got it, 109. Okay, so the measure of angle 4 in this case would be 109. All right, and then the next question is a little bit different. It says, tell whether the angles are complementary, supplementary, or neither. Well, how am I going to tell? I'm going to have to see what the total sums are for each scenario. Okay, let's start with letter A. I have 62 is my first angle, 118 is the second angle. Well, let's get the total sum here. 62 plus 118, total it up, 180. Okay, if it's 180, you know that is supplementary. I'm just going to abbreviate, supplementary. Okay, let's move on to B. The measure of angle 3 is 51. The measure of angle 4 is 39. Let's see, 51 plus 39, total it up, 90. Okay, magic number. 90 means they are complementary. And finally, letter C. The measure of angle 5 is 16. The measure of angle, oh, I forgot the angle there. The measure of angle whatever is 65. Let's check it out. So 16 and 65. 16 plus 65, and that gives me 81. 81's not one of our numbers, so that would be neither. Okay, this is probably the most important page as we go through these. Feel free to use colored pencils, as I will do a lot of shading to help you see the relationship between these angles. First word here, vertical. Vertical angles, I sometimes call them bow tie angles, and those are formed when we have two lines that intersect one another. So I'm going to draw a little sketch up here so you can see here's a line and here's a second line. Okay, and I'm just going to do a little shading here. This angle, as I shade that in red, and this angle here, as I shade that in red, you can see that those are the same size. Same size. It's almost as if I'm making a bow tie. Usually when you wear a bow tie, they're the same symmetrical, same size on both sides. It would look pretty funny if you had one side small, one side large there. Okay, so just pretend, if this was a 32-degree angle, then this would also be a 32-degree angle. They'll match. They're going to be congruent to each other. Okay, let's take a look at this picture right here. I have 4 angles marked, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Can we pick out 2 that would be the same size or congruent to one another? Take a look. Angle 2 would be the same size as angle 4. Oh, look, there's my bow tie. So 2 vertical angles, angle 2 and 4. Do you see another pair of vertical angles? I sure do. Angle 1 at the top. Look how wide that angle is, obtuse. And 3, oh look, same size, also obtuse angle. So 1 would match with 3. Okay, those are vertical or bow tie, I call it, but they're vertical angles. Okay, let's move on. Angles that are formed by parallel lines. Okay, let's review the word parallel lines. Parallel lines are two lines that will never ever cross or intersect. Think of as you drive along a road with a double yellow line, okay, the no crossing line. So parallel, two parallel lines, okay? All right, now, if we do have a line that crosses those, that's called a transversal. So take a look down here. I have parallel line, and then I have this blue line cutting across. That's called a transversal line. When I do that, I've just formed a variety of angles. I've numbered the angles 1 through 8. Okay, we're going to talk about corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, oops, I like to call these, think of like the claw machine at, when you go to like an arcade, okay? You know how you have to reach or, put your money in, move the claw, and put it in a special spot. You think when you drop it, it's going to pick up your prize and hopefully get it to you. I know it's tricky to do on those machines. So think of this. If I circle or put like a box around 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? If I were to put my claw over 1, 2, 3, 4, lift and drag it towards the back, and I want to now drop it. I'm going to drop it over on this section 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Can you take a guess? Where would angle 1 land if I were to drop it in this back section? Where would angle 1 land? It would land right where 5 is. And if you take a look, doesn't angle 1 look like it's the exact same size as 5? So 1 would match with 5. Okay, do you think angle 4, again, we picked that up with the claw, where would angle 4 land if I picked it up, moved it, and dropped it on top? 4 would land on top of 8. So we have 4 matches with 8. Now I'm going to move to angle 2. Angle 2, if I picked that up, moved it, dropped it, that would land on 6. So 2 goes with 6. And finally, angle 3, if I pick that up and drop, lands on 7. So 3 matches with 7. Okay, those are called corresponding. All those are the same exact size. Okay, the next two words, alternate interior and alternate exterior. Once again, I'm going to highlight my parallel lines. Okay, now we know the word interior means on the inside. If someone's an interior decorator, they're going to decorate the inside of the house. So we're going to focus on the inside of my parallel lines. Okay, I think of the parallel lines like sandwich, like a piece of bread. We're going to look inside. So inside would be 2, 3, 5, and 8. Those are all my interior angles, all 4 of those. Now I want to pick a pair that would be considered alternate interior. So I highlight angle 2. Okay. I want to pick one that's the exact same size on the other side, which hence the word alternate, on the other side of the transversal. That would be angle 8. You notice I sort of make a Z shape, a Z when I do that. So 2 matches with 8. And we can also see that angle 3 would match with angle 5. 3 would match with angle 5. Okay. All right, now let's look at exterior. Exterior. Let's erase that. Okay, so exterior angles will be on the outside of my parallel lines. So we're going to be looking at 6, 7, 1, and 4. Those are all on the outside of the parallel lines. Okay, let's suppose I pick angle 1. highlight, angle 1. Look at that wide obtuse angle. Which one do we think is going to match on the opposite side of the blue line? You got it. 7, angle 7. 1 goes with 7. And therefore, we only have one more partnership that would make sense. Angle 6 would match with angle 4. Angle 6 would match with angle 4. Okay, let's apply all that information that we just did on the previous page to this example. You'll notice that I have 65 degrees down here in this angle corner, okay? Nothing else is filled in. My job is to find out the measurements of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Actually, not 6, but 7, sorry. So, how might I approach this? Okay, now remember all the words we've talked about. Vertical, corresponding angles, alternate interior, supplementary. There's so many ways you can approach this problem. I would suggest, if we have 65, to maybe focus just on that section of your diagram, okay? Because if this is 65 degrees, okay? 65 right there. Here's one way to approach it. Do you see vertical angles? Because I do. Vertical, there's my bow tie. So if this is 65, how many degrees would be angle 8? You guessed it, also 65 degrees. Remember, vertical angles will match. Okay, great. Now how am I going to figure out angles 5 and 7? Well, a couple ways again you can approach this. Angle 5 and 7 look like they're going to be the same size. I notice that angle 65 is sitting right next door to 7. Yes? What does that look like from previous? Supplementary angles, okay? Because there's your splitter, yes? This angle plus this angle will total 180. So I'm just going to do a little side work here. 180 minus 65, answer would be 115. So angle 7's 115. What do you think angle 5 is going to be? Vertical, bow tie, also 115. Now I've got all 4 of those. I can go up and easily use my trick of the crane. If I take all those 4, pick it up with my claw, move it, drag it, drop it. Angle 5 would land where 1 is, 115. Angle 8 would land where 4 is, 65. Angle 65 degrees would land where 2 is, also 65. And angle 7, which is 115, would land right here, 115. So you really only have 2 measurements split into those 8 sections. Okay, I'm going to give you one to try right now. Go ahead and sketch this on your piece of paper. Take a minute. I gave you one angle there, 122 degrees. Can you find the other 7 angles? Can you find the other 7 angles? Take a second and see if you can fill that in. Okay, here we go. 122. So I know that this is also 122. Okay. Now I see that angle 3 is next to it. So I go like this. Next to it, next door neighbors. Okay, what's my total have to be? You got it, 180. So 180 minus the 122, 58. Angle 3 is 58 degrees. Okay, guys, look at that. If I highlight it, does that look like an acute angle to you? Yeah, it makes sense. 58 degrees. Whereas over here, this is an obtuse angle, 122. Okay? All right, so if that's 58, then angle 1 is also 58. And then we're going to copy all of those down in the bottom 4. So we're going to have 58 there, 122 there, 122 there, and 58 there. Okay, we're going to take a break now, and we'll come back and pick up where we left off with angles and triangles. Doing a great job. Thanks.